What if your bloodline was cursed? Not by bad luck, not by mental illness, but by a centuries-old demon hell-bent on taking your body. Welcome to Hereditary, a film that didn't just scare you, it broke you. This isn't a movie about ghosts. It's about grief, guilt, and how your family might just be your worst nightmare. It's the kind of film that lingers like trauma, sitting in your chest long after the credits roll. Today, we're going to tear it apart, scene by scene, theory by theory. Welcome to Room of Opinions, where we rip open the cult classics and see what bleeds out. The film opens on a funeral. Ellen Lee, matriarch of the Graham family, has passed away, but her daughter, Annie, delivers a cold, stiff eulogy. You can feel the tension in every word. This wasn't a woman beloved by her family. It was someone feared, someone powerful, someone secretive. Annie is a miniaturist artist. Her whole world is building tiny dioramas, perfect little replicas of her life. Her desire to control the chaos around her is both therapeutic and disturbing. She makes scenes of grief, death, even her daughter's headless corpse later in the film. Nothing is off limits. Her husband Steve is kind but passive. He doesn't engage. Her son Peter is a teenage escape artist who smokes weed and avoids eye contact. And then there's Charlie. Charlie is a strange child. Socially withdrawn, artistically inclined, obsessed with bird corpses, and always making that eerie clicking sound with her tongue. The film constantly hints that something isn't right with her. Annie reveals that Ellen practically raised Charlie, even breastfeeding her. That crosses a line. Ellen's obsession with Charlie wasn't maternal, it was spiritual. From the start, there are symbols, strange carvings, unsettling glances from strangers at the funeral. Something is watching the Graham family. Something is waiting. Ari Aster carefully layers this opening with dread, never relying on cheap tricks. The cinematography is pristine and unnerving. The camera often floats in or out of miniature sets, subtly telling us we're already inside a trap. A world meticulously constructed, not just by Annie, but by a demonic plan that started generations before. There's a chilling sense that Ellen's death didn't end something, it began it. That's key to the tone Aster establishes. This isn't the resolution of a curse, it's the ignition. And we, the audience, are trapped in that downward spiral with the Grahams. We get to that scene, the one that made people gasp in theaters. Peter wants to go to a party. Annie forces him to take Charlie. Charlie eats chocolate cake. It has nuts. She's allergic. She can't breathe. Peter, panicked, drives her to the hospital. Charlie sticks her head out the window for air. And then, it happens. Smack! A telephone pole. Her head is gone. Peter doesn't scream. He doesn't cry. He drives home, parks, walks to bed, and lies awake as morning breaks. It's one of the most disturbing portrayals of shock ever put to screen. Annie's scream the next morning isn't cinematic. It's primal, devastating. It's not a jump scare. It's a descent into real pain. What's terrifying is how Hereditary uses silence and restraint. No dramatic music, no quick edits, just the awful stillness of trauma. Fans online notice that the pole Charlie is killed by has a small demonic symbol carved into it. The same symbol used by the cult. This wasn't an accident. It was orchestrated. This sequence works because it forces you to sit with discomfort. There's no relief, no release. Just a broken boy, a ruined family, and the invisible hand of evil tightening its grip. Annie joins a grief support group. There she meets Joan. Friendly, comforting, but suspiciously eager. Joan introduces Annie to the occult. They hold a seance. A glass moves. A spirit communicates. But it's not Charlie they're talking to. Joan pushes Annie deeper, shows her how to contact the dead. But this is no parlor trick. We start to see books in Annie's house on demonology. Symbols return. The name Paimon appears. He's one of the 8 kings of hell in occult tradition. A demon that desires a male host. A demon Ellen had been worshipping all along. Photographs show Ellen and Joan together. Rituals. Ceremonies. This isn't a grieving friend. This is a handler. A recruiter. And Annie? She's not discovering anything. She's just catching up to what everyone else already knows. Aster inserts quick subliminal shots like Ellen's corpse in the attic to disorient the viewer. There's no distinction between what's real and what's imagined anymore. That's the horror. Not knowing when you've already crossed the line. Even the house itself becomes a character. Its attic holds secrets, its walls are marked, and the lighting, so clinical and controlled, mirrors Annie's miniatures. Every frame is curated. This isn't a homie, it's a diorama. The Grahams aren't living, they're being displayed. Peter begins to unravel. He hears clicking, sees reflections that grin back. One day in class, he slams his head into a desk so hard he breaks his nose. At home, Annie becomes convinced she must burn Charlie's sketchbook to break the connection. She throws it into the fireplace, and her sleeve catches fire. The link is real. Steve, finally confronted with the truth, is horrified. Annie begs him to burn the book, but when he does, he bursts into flames. It's not a movie about scares anymore. It's a movie about helplessness. Nothing they do matters. Annie is now fully possessed. She floats. She beheads herself with piano wire. It's slow, silent, awful. Peter runs to the attic. He finds the headless corpse of his mother, bowing to him. The room is filled with naked cultists, the demon's worshippers. Peter jumps out the window. His body lies lifeless. And then, click. He rises. The light enters him. The cult gathers. They place a crown on his head. Peter is gone. Paimon is here. Ari Aster reportedly instructed his crew to play the third act with zero irony. The horror isn't just in what happens, but in how seriously the film treats every absurdity. The nudity, the ritualistic possess, it's all portrayed with a reverence that makes it feel ancient and inevitable. It's important that the film never gives Peter the power to resist. He's not a hero, he's a vessel. And that's what makes the ending hit so hard. There's no redemption arc, no last-minute savior. Just inevitability. What does it all mean? On the surface, it's a possession film. But beneath that, it's a portrait of generational trauma. Annie's father starved himself. Her brother hanged himself, claiming their mother was trying to put people inside him. These aren't red flags. They're flashing warning lights. Hereditary suggests that pain isn't just inherited, it's weaponized. That our families might pass down curses disguised as traditions. That we are born into stories we can't rewrite. Annie builds miniatures because it gives her the illusion of control. But it's not real. None of it is. The Graham family is being watched, manipulated, and used. They are puppets. Pieces on a board, moved by people they never agreed to serve. Some say Charlie was Paimon all along, that the cult planned to move the demon into Peter, that the entire film is just the execution of a years-long plan. Others see it all as metaphor, a hallucination of a teen boy cracking under pressure, absolving himself through fantasy. But Hereditary never gives you answers, just fear. When Hereditary premiered at Sundance, it was marketed as this generation's exorcist, but it did something even deeper. It replaced religion with legacy, faith with bloodline, and demons with family. Toni Collette's performance is unforgettable. Critics demanded she receive an Oscar nomination. She didn't. Horror, even at its best, is still shunned by the awards circuit. The film's legacy lives on in analysis videos, Reddit breakdowns, fan theories. Every time you rewatch it, something new creeps into view. That's what makes it immortal. And from a filmmaking standpoint, Aster's debut shook the horror genre. It proved that atmosphere, grief, and silence could be more horrifying than blood and gore. It inspired a wave of elevated horror, influencing films like Midsommar, The Babadook, and The Witch. Even years later, you'll find think pieces on Hereditary's themes, breakdowns of its symbols, and debates over its meaning. That's cultural impact, not viral, permanent. So next time you hear a clicking sound in the dark, don't look up, don't run. The crown's already on your head. This was Room of Opinions. Like, comment, and tell us, what movie left you rattled? Subscribe for more breakdowns that go deeper than just story. We're here to dig up the bones of cinema, and sometimes they still twitch.